You ready for some dialogue, Shawnee?
No. Okay. Yeah, no. Let's do this.
So, we were mentioning it earlier in the chat. I'm just here to pose a question.
Mm-hmm.
This is an innocent question. Is the MVP race over? And the reason I asked this, Shawnee, is I feel like pretty much across the board, it is no argument that A'ja Wilson has been the best player performance-wise in the WNBA this year. I think that's unquestionable. But in a 12-team league, if you are not getting home court, is that an issue for the MVP, amongst other things that I know you might speak on here? But I just want to pose the question. We can just kind of start it generally. Is the MVP race wrapped up?
I'm really uneasy about it, and I say no. Everybody knows I'm a Russell Westbrook fan. He was a 6th seed when he won his MVP, but it was like the impact. And a lot of what it is narratives. MVP usually has some sort of narrative. And that's the thing that kind of concerns me about A'ja Wilson, is that she's essentially the Beyonce of the WNBA, and that people are so comfortable praising Beyonce, and they can see her artistry and the attention to detail she puts into what she does and her craft and how good she is at it. But at the same time, every year at the Grammys, when it comes time for album of the year, empty-handed. And I feel like that's what's happening with A'ja, because this year everybody's just been like, yeah, she's great, she's this, she's that, she's the face of the league, she's the best player in the world, blah 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 blah. But I didn't get a story as to like how we got here. And now I'm looking at the other players that are kind of creeping up, and they're creating narratives. We saw Stewie get I don't think she's in the race, but like she still got this story the other week about her redemption tour. You have Fee, Commissioner's Cup, really overlooked this season. Cheryl Reeve is well documented saying like, y'all got to pay attention to us now. She has a story. And even the one on the left, I mean, even with Sabrina.
Go ahead. No, sorry. Keep going.
Even with Sabrina, we're seeing the growth. There has been growth in her game. I'm not gonna hold you. From year one, when she fully got a full season, to now, she's improved. But and I'll get into that later about her. But they're still telling a story of how she got here and what you're seeing. And then somebody was arguing with me on Twitter. First off, get your calculator out, the game I love. I don't care about no advanced metrics. There is no number you can bring me that says Sabrina is more valuable than A'ja Wilson. So whatever numbers you're using to say that, they're wrong. And I don't care. And stop assaulting me and my family with those numbers. But having said that, it's it really just depends on what the voters see as most valuable. And because we don't have voter transparency, we don't even know who else getting a vote. And I still truly feel like last year there was no reason for A'ja not to win it, but we got a narrative. We had 4 40-point games. Yes, 2 of them came against the Indiana Fever and 1 against the Dallas Wings. Nobody seemed to care about that. We still got the narrative. We still got Alyssa Thomas's narrative about the triple doubles and boxing. But we don't really, I feel like we take A'ja's greatness for granted, and then get kind of lazy and don't tell the story and don't push what she's actually doing within the context of the game and why it is the most valuable in the league. So I'm really uneasy, especially with the standings, because I feel like people box themselves in at the beginning of the season with Rookie of the Year criteria. So I don't want that to come up and bite people in the butt for MVP, because you can't sit there and say record and standings is more important with Rookie of the Year than MVP. So I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm concerned with everything. Just general unease.
Yeah, no, it's a general unease. No, but I completely agree. For me, it's always been very simple when it comes to my qualifications, I guess maybe the word for it, of an MVP. And there's just it's stats, it's standings, it's story. The stats are there, no question. She is she is the best player in the world. I don't think that's debatable at this moment. On a day-to-day basis, A'ja Wilson's the best player in the world. The standings, like I said, in a 12-team league, if you're not top 4, that's questionable. You know, like obviously it's a pretty tight playoff race. I'll pull the standings up right now. Let's see. So like right now, they're a half game back from the 4 seed, and 2.5 games back now from the Lynx in 3. And they are 3 games ahead of Mercury in 6th. So it's tight, and certainly like they can make that jump into home court, no doubt. But it's still like a point of contention. If you're not home court, that's a point of contention for me.
And then on top of that, if you're not home court and we're like kind of throwing rankings out and it's purely everything else, people are saying it in the chat, but like you still got Caitlin Clark there, and people have been hyper fixated on her, yes, but we still have a narrative. She went through a gauntlet, and now she has helped get the team to the first playoffs in like almost 10 years. So if she's the 6th, huh?
I said I don't know if I was born last time if you're in the playoffs.
I'm already feeling general discomfort, and you do stuff like that. Like I don't. Just say you hate Black women and go.
Whoa!
Like, yeah. I'm lashing out. But like,
I'm gonna sit here and listen.
Be a better ally.
Sorry.
But it's like, even with her, you know, like we have a narrative. We have a hero's journey. We have how many records she's broken, how many, you know, what she's on pace to do. We have all of that. And so again, it's just, everybody else has a story, and I just feel like they got really lazy with A'ja in telling her story. And that's why I was adamant from the very start of this season of, okay, if we feel like Caitlin Clark is getting too much attention, use our collective resources and platforms to shift the discussion to who we feel we need to be. So here at No Cap Space, we've been doing the best we can. We've been trying to give you different stories and trying, you know, but like, we're human. People have real lives, jobs, things to do outside of this. So it's like, we're doing the best we can. One day we will have the resources to do everything we want. But right now,
give us some cap space.
Hello. Let's drop that note.
Yeah, come on now.
But it's just like, I just feel like the people with the large platforms that were chiming in on all of this and using, you know, their channels to tell different, like, we did a disservice to A'ja, and I really hope that her numbers and everything she's doing on the court is just enough as it is, because I'm still uncomfortable. And I would like to address something, if you don't have another point. In the chat, somebody was like, they said Sabrina is a good candidate for most improved. And I vehemently disagree with that, because
yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
You cannot be a number 1 pick and get most improved. Like it just doesn't happen. The baseline expectations for number 1 pick are typically be generational, right? And if you meet them, and or you're really, really good, or come as close to generational as you possibly can. So if you meet that, you know, you did your thing. You've met expectations. Congratulations. And if you don't, you're a bust. Like when it's all said and done, not like in the middle, but like when it's all said and done. So rising to a level to where you feel like people feel like, okay, now you're up for first team. Now you're in talks for MVP. You're a number 1 pick. You should have been here. Aaliyah Boston was like, she was hooping, and it came down to a couple players ahead of her slightly, but it's like, hit the ground running. You know, even Ryan Howard hit the ground running. A'ja Wilson hit the ground running. So Jackie, Kelsey, like, you know, this is some tweener type number 1 picks, but like there's still that expectation. Yeah. I don't think you get most improved as a number 1 player. And Jackie is still really a weird argument, because I never thought she should have been the number that high. So like everything I'm saying is like, I had her down here, so she's most improved to me because I didn't see her up here to begin with. But like with Sabrina, she came in with the hype. She came in with the stamps. She came in with everything, you know, pointing us and leading us to believe that she was something different, new. And we're seeing Caitlyn do the same thing she doing in year 4.
There you go.
Year 5, Caitlyn in year 1, bruh.
Get it in. There you go.
Caitlyn in year 1, bruh.
I completely agree. I think that, and like this is I think kind of a pretty much like basketball like totality argument. I saw some discourse about this on like the NBA side as well with most improved player. I think we've kind of lost the plot with MIP. And to me, I think of it as like the breakout player. Like that's more so like when I'm thinking MIP, I'm thinking of Jordan Canada last year going from a training camp contract
to
being a bona fide starter in the league. Like I guess
and not no like lottery pick, dog. Come on.
Like Satu when like I didn't think Satu, not that Satu didn't improve last year, but that's just not the spirit of the award to me. And Sabrina is in that same vein of like, you can certainly improve, but to me, there has to be a difference between breaking out and improving to me. And that's where I think like the name of the award and not really having kind of the rules of sorts like around it. Like Dejanay Carrington, that's a most improved player to me. That's a breakout player that has established herself as a starter in this league from like going from being a role player last year. Like that is a clear step up and one that I think people were like ready to see if she would take a next step, but she has exceeded the expectation of said step. And that to me is what makes a most improved case, as opposed to your point, a player that has high expectations and now is kind of reaching those in that way. So I'm cool with Sabrina absolutely being in like MVP talks and like being in the top 3 or whatever that looks like, 4, whatever. But MIP, I'm not rocking with. Like
no, you gotta start from the bottom and now you're here. Like you don't get to like no, like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But yes, to circle back to the MVP, I say all this while also feeling that like my vote would go to Asia right now if I had a vote. Like 100%. I do just think like I know there was talk of like unanimous MVP. I don't think that's happening.
No, that's dead. That died as soon as Fee started cooking, like way before All-Star break. Like yeah, that's been dead.
Yeah, so like that is something that you can just throw that out.
Truthfully, I'm okay with that because I saw somebody say this on Twitter. Like the standard for unanimous should be like super high. Like look at what Steph Curry had to do to get unanimous. Like and as great as
like that's cool with me. Like that's
like as good as Asia is playing, and as great as her numbers are, like as a unanimous as a 5th, unless she was averaging literally like Wilt numbers, like 50, 20, 10 blocks, like nah.
Yeah. No,
I'm good. I'm cool on it.
No, I completely agree. Like I think that, like I said, my kind of 3 boxes of like stats, standing, story, all those gotta be checked. That's
okay.
Since freshman year, that's like year 5 on that one. That's my
all right, Sabrina, you want most improved?
My 3 STs. Come on now.
All right.
But like you got to check all those boxes very clearly. Like they're like it should be like anyone that argues against that should look like an idiot. And I think that there are like valid points to poke holes in Asia's MVP case, even though I do think that she will and should win it. And so like that's just not unanimous to me. That's okay. That ain't no problem because that's a very high standard and it should be that high standard.
I hope so because it's just some stuff. There's still some things going on, and I'm gonna get a column up on this next week. But subscribe to Substack because I have some thoughts on this and why I don't exactly trust what's going on. And it's like it's not Sabrina's fault per se, but it is still a point of contention for me that her and Asia are number 1 picks. Like I want to like point that out and how different their standards are to like win things. You know what I'm saying? Like Asia Wilson and Sabrina shouldn't really be in the same conversation, in my opinion. Like, and this is like all jokes and hate and whatnot aside. Like Sabrina has come along and she is doing her thing, but like she is now playing at the level of a rookie. in her first year, doing her thing. Asia has been leaps and bounds. So it's just like all number one picks are not created equal. And I just feel like it's again, the storylines and the hyperfixation on everything else, like the Black women are still suffering. And I just hope it doesn't cost her something that she truly deserves this year.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean, there's levels to it.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, when it comes to the play on the court, nobody's on Asia Wilson's level right now. So there's other aspects that go into being MVP, and that will be interesting to watch play out. We won't know who votes for what, but it'll be interesting to theorize, I guess, since we don't get the transparency that we should be getting there.
That's got to change now, bro. Like we need,
especially after last year. How do you vote her fourth place? That's wicked.